He released this statement, quote, despite multiple confirmed accounts of American Crossroads and Crossroads GPS being conceived in his own home, promoting the group extensively in the media and raising funds for it, Karl Rove claims that he is not helping to fund these groups. Mr. Rove has gone further and accused the president of being misleading. These are serious accusations that we would think Mr. Rove would be willing to back up with incontrovertible evidence. So your response to that?
Yeah. Look, I am helping raise money for these groups, but there's a difference between helping raise money and funding these groups. The president left the implication in a speech on Thursday, and then in this speech that I'm somehow taking a check out of my pocket and putting millions into these groups. I'm absolutely helping them. I'm doing everything I possibly can to raise money for them. In fact, if people watching this broadcast want to contribute, go to AmericanCrossroads.com and sign up for a contribution.
There's a lot of focus, Joe, by the president.
You put on a lot of weight. You better watch that scale.
What he calls the shadow
Watch the
groups.
scale, Mr. Rove.
But unions and liberal groups are spending too. Daily Caller writes this. Unions and liberal groups have said for months that they are spending what amounts to more than $200 million in this election cycle. An updated count, including a verification with major labor groups that their commitment still stands, shows that amount to be more than $250 million now. So is all of this Democratic focus on this spending a little disingenuous?
No, not at all. I mean, all these groups have been involved before. Labor, all the groups you just listed, and some of the ones that Carl listed. The difference this year is the amount of corporate money that's pumping into the system we've never seen before. And also, now with the chamber, U.S. Chamber, there's even accusations that some of that money may be foreign corporate money that's literally funding some of these campaigns and independent expenditures. I think that's where that's going to be an issue, I think, going down through the November election now, is where's that money coming from?
Although the chamber denies that, and the New York Times wrote about the foreign money that they wrote, there's little evidence that what the chamber does in collecting overseas dues is improper or even unusual, according to both liberal and conservative election law lawyers.
Brett,
their money.
Brett, it went further than that, Brett. The White House was unable to back up its charge that the United States Chamber of Commerce was spending foreign money on political activity. That's in the New York Times story yesterday. Look, this is a desperate political ploy by the White House.
The same New York Times.
This is a desperate political ploy by the White House to distract attention from the failed economic policies, from a jobless recovery, from the terrible economic news last week, and from the failure of the Obamacare proposal to gain popular support. And they're talking about these baseless charges. The President of the United States,
what does he do, Mom?
Chamber of Commerce,
with his hand?
National Committee in its new ad accuses
Said, get out of here.
Of a criminal violation of our
Hey, where's your TV guide, Mom?
money and spend it on American
okay.
political campaigns, and they have not one shred of evidence to back
So what's
going to
come on after this?
This is a desperate and I think disturbing trend by the President of the United States to tar his political adversaries with some kind of enemies list, with being unrestrained by any facts or evidence whatsoever.
Joe.
Look, the chamber in the same New York Times article says that they commingle the funds come from foreign entities, they come from U.S. companies, and then they only supposedly use U.S. company money to influence elections.
Fareed Zakaria comes.
Joe, they receive $100,000 from American Chambers of Commerce abroad, and they very carefully, they say, segregate that money out of their $200 million budget, observing the U.S. laws that they can spend no foreign money on political activity, and they don't. And the President of the United States and the Democratic National Committee have no evidence to the contrary, and yet they accuse them of violating the criminal laws of the United States. Have these people no shame? Does the President of the United States have such little regard for the office that he holds that he goes out there and makes these kind of baseless charges against his political enemies? This is just beyond the pale. How dare the President do this?
How dare you?
With that, we're going to go to these individual races. We asked each of you to come up with 3 races: the Senate race, the House race, the governor's race. You find.
Will be picked up and put in jail?
We're going to start with you. You come to the Illinois Senate race. Republican Mark Kirk versus Democrat Alexis Giannoulias. Real Clear Politics Avenue polls show Kirk up 1.2. Why this one? Besides the president was talking about you there Thursday.
Which is nothing.
Well, look, this is there are lots of very interesting Senate races. Joe and I have had
You're
interesting
that's why you're putting on
conversations
so
about
much
these.
weight. Go home and go do some jogging. Okay?
He's going there. Michelle is
Get
going
your
there.
sweats on and hit the road.
The president himself has been there several times.
That's your advice to Karl Rove,
That's
Mom?
what I'm going to
President's
tell
home state. It's a
you.
seat
Put on a lot
that
of
should
weight.
be easily.
You're gonna have a heart attack and you know that you're too young for that.
So he's got to go put on some jogging.
Put some jogging clothes on and hit their vote.
Difficulties in Democratic candidate Alexis Giannoulias.
And
Joe, you
don't
chose
come back till
Washington State, the
after
Senate race there, and that pits
noon.
incumbent Democrat
The
Patty
afternoon
Murray against
sometime.
Republican Dino Rossi. Right now, Real Clear